What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ashley Lewis. The reason why I'm doing this video is because, well, anyways, let's get to the name. Actually, the name of this video is Trendline Tricks. The reason why we're doing this video is because though you guys are in the little signal service and whatnot, um, we actually, well, I actually like, I'm sure we all help liking, helping people and shit like that, right? But I actually want to be able to teach you guys some little things that help me trade, so that you can possibly be independent, on your own, or actually gain some new perspective in your own trading. Okay. At the same time, since we are a group, we have our own little community of binary snipers, or whatever the fuck, right? If you guys really do get good with this stuff and do find some accuracy, you can also assist us in the little signals as far as finding setups, just to make everybody's job easier. And if we find good trades, we can all stay profitable, right? Now I'm going to show you two ways to use your trend lines, or to use trend lines as far as how I trade and whatnot. And this is exactly how I was calling all the signals yesterday. Um, I had called 11 trades last night. 10 of them won, and then one of them lost. Now, out of those 11 trades, or out of the 10 that won, 6 of those were single positions, and then 2 of those trades were double entries. But even those, that shit won. So depending on your money management, you would have been profitable on at least 10 setups last night. All right. Now I'm gonna show you exactly how I figure all that out, and how I take those trades. I will be taking some trades in front of you. I went live today, for the first time of all summer, and I made a little bit of money, but I didn't necessarily have the greatest day. And I noticed my mentality on live compared to demo played a huge difference in my actual results. Um, because obviously when you're on live, you're more cognizant, or you're more, uh, I guess you can say, conservative with your money and your entries. But at the same time, live and demo is the same thing. The only thing that's different is your mentality. So there's no reason why I was able to flip, my little $10,000 market sport account into over $175,000 last night. Just simply by using this strategy. But at the same time, I can lose, what was it, $400 on live today, and then barely make all that back plus $135. So so what I'm doing right now is, in order to give you the gist and show you guys some accuracy and shit like that, show you how this really works. I don't want my mind state to be fucked up. So I'm going to do this by trading on a demo account. So just so all you guys can see, how this shit really works. I'm still working on my mentality to transitioning using this method to live. But for now, like I said, it will be on a demo account, right? So this is Trendline Tricks. Now I will say this: all summer long, I was learning price action from Brandon. I have struggled with it though. I'm not teaching his strategy because I really don't believe in leaking shit. It's fucked up. But I did, for this method, I did take a couple principles as far as the 3 touches, for a trend line, confirmation, indication. I'll explain that shit. The only reason why I'm sharing this is because it is not, 100% what he teaches. I'm not even going over the bulk of what he teaches. I just took just those 2 little things, um, that as far as the trend lines goes, and it actually helps, with this thing goes, right? And if Brandon ever does see this video, how I draw my trend lines and shit, you'll obviously know that it's nothing similar to how you actually draw yours. So this is all, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, okay? So let's get started. Real quick. Oh yeah. Whenever you listen to this video or whatnot, whoever's listening, you will need to write down just a couple things, just a couple notes, okay? So since Queen is the only one on this, and Darius was on this yesterday, first thing I want you to write down, Queen, is the trend is your friend. So when you write down the trend is your friend, tell me in the little chat box right here, and then we'll go from there. So write down the trend is your friend, okay? All right. So I'm trying to remember everything that I was saying yesterday, but for example, okay, right? And that trade actually went, Darius. If you see how get a bounce stop and ended above, that trade would have won. Okay, but anyways, so as far as the trend is your friend goes, right? Literally with trend lines, it's pretty much telling you like where the market is going. Okay, right? For the most part, until your trend line is broken. All right. Um, Now, if you follow your trend line, then you have a great chance of actually getting great entries on your trades. But the problem with trend lines is trying to draw them correctly. So literally, when I was learning about trend lines, I was taught that if you had, at least 3 points, well, I'll start a different way, obviously, right? But if you had at least three good touches, on your trend line, right? And whenever candles were hitting your trend line and then retracing back in the opposite direction, as long as your trend line was respected, you can enter that trade. Now, Brandon's expertise would be different. His expertise is kind of like the Kraken, which is Darius's method, where you'll trade like future candles and shit like that. But the thing for me is, I've never really been good at predicting the future. That's like really hard for me to do. But I've always been good at identifying, or analyzing the candles that I'm currently looking at and trading those. That's what I've been doing ever since the beginning. So personally, for the first trend line method I'm gonna show you, right? How we've been calling signals, or how I've been calling signals, right? Whereas in order to get a trend right, what I would do is I would look for any area, right, where I can line up 3 wicks 100% perfectly. Like if they lined up perfectly, I would consider that like my trend and shit like that. Now, if you're staring at this, obviously it looks like a bearish trend. You feel me? Um, the bearish trend is that's a downtrend. Bullish would be uptrend and shit. But if you're looking at this, you think it's a bearish trend, right? So what I'm doing is all I'm trying to do is find 3 wicks that match up 100% perfectly, right? So in this example, it's a 20-minute candle and shit. But if you look right here, I got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches. Now you see how these 3 wicks line up perfectly and shit like that, right? Any candle that comes up, touches this line exactly, and then retraces back down, I am simply going to take that trade for a put, right? For however long, however much longer it is until my candle expires. Now this is a 20-minute candle, okay? And my clock says 8:43. So hypothetically, if this candle came all the way up, touch my line, and then retrace back down, I'm taking it for a put for the next 17 minutes because that's when this 20-minute candle will close. You understand? If you understand, Queen, type yes. Okay. So that's how I'll take these trades and shit, right? If I have 3 points that line up 100% correctly, it is considered a true trend line. So go ahead and write that down, Queen. You need 3 wicks that line up 100% correctly in order to consider a true trend line. Now, this is just how I trade this shit. This is not how I've been, taught. This is just something that I figured out that granted me the best fucking results as far as this method goes. All right. Um, so yeah. So that's that, right? Now, obviously, yeah. All right. So that's that. And as I'm trying to remember everything that I said yesterday, because yesterday was like the perfect video. So yeah. So anyways, all right. So let's find some actual live examples where I can show you guys as far as this goes. All right, that's actually perfect right here because I had 1, 2, 3 touches. This came down. This came up in a retrace, but then this one decided to come right back down. Oh shit, my bad. This one decided to come back down and shit like that, and respects the line and shit. So you could have took like a 6-minute put on that. So that would be 3 minutes left. And if it came up, you could have took a put. But either way, it's just an example, right? Now let's see something. Now that I see 3 wicks right here, I'm just curious. Okay, this is good too right here, right? So let me delete these other lines so y'all don't get fucking confused, right? So the idea is, right, because we know this is a true trend line and this is a true trend line, any candle that comes up, touches this, retraces down, or touches this line, retraces down, right? I'm taking it for a 6-minute put because these are 6-minute candles. This 6-minute candle closes in 2 minutes 10 seconds. That's how long my trade would be, hypothetically, right? Now, so that's the gist as far as drawing your trend lines if they line up perfectly. Now, how you know if a trend line is broken? Well, let me show you an example for that, okay? So real quick, Queen, I want you to write down on 2 different lines. I want you to write down indication and confirmation, okay? So go ahead and write indication, confirmation. And tell me when you have that. Alright, so I'm going to find an example real quick so I can show you what an indication is. So let's see. Okay, so let's say, let me draw a line real quick. Technically that works. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this works. This is good. Alright, so we have our trend line here, right? We got 1, 2, 3 touches, right? This wouldn't work because it overshot, but this is our perfect touch. Once you have your 3 touches that line up 100% perfectly, anything that touches your line and then retraces back down, right? You take it for a put. So these are 20-minute candles, right? So that means 20-minute put, 20-minute put, 20-minute put. This came up, you would have probably got scared of this shit. Then all of a sudden it retrace. If you catch it on the retrace, 20-minute put. So you would have literally won 4 trades right here if you would have traded those, right? But only if you see them retrace. If they retrace underneath your line, you can take them. But the trades that I like personally are the ones that touch your line exactly. They might overshoot because if you look right here, just so you know, so you can see, if they barely overshoot, you can consider it. If they barely undershoot, you can consider it. Undershoot would be like this counter right here. You see, it doesn't necessarily touch the line exactly, but there's a little like gap between it, just a little spot, but it retraces right in front of it. Now the reason why you can consider these if it overshoots or if it undershoots is because out of all places on this chart, if you drew a trend line, right, out of all places, why would there be a retracement right there on your trend line if it didn't mean nothing? This is what I call common sense. If you just drew a random line and it didn't get respected, like if you drew like fucking this, like hold up, if you drew something like this, right? How the fuck would you know where this is even going? Like if this just shot straight through it and you expected it to go down, it shot straight through it or some shit like that. Like, what do you expect? It's just a random line, right? You wouldn't know nothing about this. But this line right here, you had 3 wicks that lined up perfectly. All of a sudden, all these other candles respected and retraced. That lets you know that your trend line is probably correct. So anything that respects your trend line, touches it and retraces, you will take a trade down. I mean, like for this, right? Because this is a bearish trend line, you would take a trade down. If it was a bullish trend line going up, test your line and then then retrace back up, you would take it for a call. And that's how you would do this, right? Now, real quick, indication, right? An indication is when a candle, like a candle, goes outside of your trend line. And when I say a candle, I mean a candle body. Okay? So what that looks like is this. You see how all these wicks will like either touch the trend line or go outside and then come back down, right? But then all of a sudden this candle goes up. It ends outside of your trend line, right? This is considered an indication. So whenever a candle body ends outside of a trend line, it is called an indication. This means that your trend line might be broken or it might be about to break. Okay? So write that down. Tell me when you have that, Queen. Indication lets you know when a trend line might be broken or might be about to break. All right. So what a confirmation is when a second candle body ends outside of your trend line. So you see how this candle body is outside and then this candle body is also outside? Whenever you see two candle bodies end outside of your trend line, that is a confirmation. That means your trend line is now broken and you will no longer take trades based upon this trend line. So you would simply delete it. Write that down and let me know when you have that, Queen. Confirmation is when you have two candle bodies outside of your trend line. When two candle bodies, one, two, and outside of your trend line, that means that your trend line is now broken and you will no longer take trades based off of this trend line. So you will simply delete it. Understand? All right. Now here's a fancy little, neat little trick too, just so you know. But whenever your trend lines get broken, right? Of course, you will no longer take trades based upon it, but these trend lines will also act as support and resistance, just so you know. So that means any candle that comes down here, touches it, and retraces, that's the support and resistance, which you will see. Now this right here, you see how close it got, and then it retraced? You got to think to yourself, why did it retrace right there? Because it probably respected your trend line. Now, if I adjust, you see how all these wicks are in the same area? If I slightly adjust this, I bet this will line up 100% perfectly with this. So let's try, just so you guys can see. So look at this. 1, 2. You see that this one barely undershoot, but this is perfect. So 1, 2, 3. Lined up perfectly. You see how this works? So let's see. If you want to go out trades, barely undershoot, you can do this. 1, 2, 3 touches. 20-minute put. 20-minute put. This undershoots, so that's either a judgment call or you just don't take it. This came up, retrace under, 20-minute put if you really want to. But if you just want the perfect when it touches and then comes back down, then you just want to take this trade. This one came up, touched, barely retraced. You could have did a 20-minute put. You would have barely won that though, or tied, or barely lost depending on your entry, right? But then look at this. You see how this candle starts outside of your trend line, right? It came down, touched it perfectly, shot up. Support and resistance. All of a sudden you got a confirmation. Didn't touch your trend line, but all of a sudden the next candle that comes after that, this trend line is broken because you have a confirmation, but this touches your trend line perfectly, then shoots up. This is support and resistance. If you draw the perfect trend line, you will see support and resistance. The trend lines will work just like that. That's all I really wanted to show you as far as that goes, okay? So if you understand, type the letter yes. And that's true. EMAs work as a moving trend line. I took the stochastics out because they were literally in the way, and I wasn't using them anyways. But these little EMAs, this shit actually does help. I'm not really gonna say much about it because the idea for this video is more so the trend lines and shit. But whenever I stack whatever the fuck, it does help me figure out better entries. Even when I take single positions, you know, depending on where these candles hit, because sometimes they'll hit the EMAs, and then retrace right off of that. And that lets me know, hey, that's probably means something. You know, like look at this, perfect. You know, touches, retrace, touch, retrace. You feel me? Sometimes we'll touch it perfectly and retrace. So that right there should let you know, like these things probably mean something. And since they're like moving trend lines, and you see the retracements there. Okay, so that's indication, confirmation. Okay, now what's next? So I went over 3 points that line up 100% correctly. If it touches your trend line and then retraces, okay, so if you have a bearish trend, it's a bearish trend, it's a downtrend, and you have your 3 points that touch up 100% correctly, and then after that, any candle that touches your trend line and then retraces down, that's when you enter your trade. But you only enter your trade when you see a retrace. You know, and if you want to be safe, make it a decent retrace, because if it's a baby retrace, I mean something like this, like if you see like this right here, if you see this, it hits your trend line right here, but then it comes like here or something like that. You see a baby retrace, you might think, oh, it's the perfect time to enter my trade. Oh yeah, and all of a sudden it might shoot all the way out here or some shit, right? If you see a baby retrace, give it a second to see what it's gonna do. If it comes down even a little bit more, then you can take your trade. But just make sure it's a decent retrace to where you don't have to be like, is that a put, or is it? I don't know. Is it safe? See with your eyes, and if it makes sense and you see the retrace, then be like, all right, I'm gonna take it. All of a sudden, shoots down. Same thing here. Tested your shit perfectly. All of a sudden, you see a decent retrace. You're like, all right, taking a put. You would have won. So just gotta use common sense kind of for that shit, okay? So that's bearish trend line, all right? I know some people are slow, so let me draw, a bullish trend line for y'all to see. So let's see. Let's draw a bullish trend line. All right, perfect. So that's bearish trend line, all right? We'll delete this. Okay. So then this right here, we got one touch, two touch, barely undershoots, but looks good enough to me. Or if you want to be careful, you got three perfect touches right there. So 1, 2, 3 perfect touches, right? But we'll go off of this because it's close enough, right? So the idea is for a bullish trend line, as soon as you have your 3 touches, anything that touches your trend line and retraces up, you'll take 20-minute puts. I'm 20-minute calls. It's 20-minute candle, that's why I say that. But let's say bullish trend line, anything that touches your trend line retraces up, you take calls, okay? So got 1, 2, 3. I'll zoom in case no people can't see it on the actual video. What's up?
When it hits your trend line, do you take it as soon as it hits your trend line, or after it leaves your trend line, then you take it? That's what they're asking.
Repeat that again, because I can't hear you.
Look in the chat.
Where do you like to take trades? Right as they kiss the trend line? Best is when they overshoot and start retracing, leaving a wick, leading into a zone. Where I like to personally take my trades, I'm gonna trade on this too. I'm just going over everything right now, that's all. But I will trade on this so you can actually see examples. But how I like to trade, and if whenever they undershoot, zoom in too, because it actually helps to see if it is lined up perfectly. Because now I can see there is a little gap right here, just like this, but it is close enough. But anyways, how I like to trade is when I see my 3 touches, right? When I see something hit my trend line and there's like a decent retracement, I will take the trade. But I like to take trades that will like hit my trend line exactly and then retrace. That's what I like to do. Like this one right here overshot it in like a major way, but then it pulls back. Technically, when you see that retrace, you can take the trade, but I like trades more that look like this. Like it might retrace literally on my line or right in front of it or right after it. Then as soon as I see a little bit of movement opposite direction, so like it touches my line right here, right? But all of a sudden I see like this right here, whatever the fuck, that's when I'll enter my trade. I just want to see a decent retracement and then I'll enter my trade. All of a sudden, shit goes up and I win my shit. This right here, it barely overshoots it or undershoots it, I guess. Then it decent retrace. I enter my trade. But you want to see the retrace. If this retraced, you feel me? You would have just lost that shit. All of a sudden, this shit right here. So this was an indication, as you can see, because it ended outside of my trend line. But all of a sudden, this right here comes up, comes right back into my trend line. I see a decent retrace. I'll take it for a call. You'll win that shit. Let's come over here. All of a sudden, this shit right here. If this hits your line and did retrace, you would lose. But that's only for retrace. If it doesn't retrace, you simply don't take the trade. But as you can see, this is an indication. All of a sudden, this shit comes up, right? If it comes inside and you see a decent retrace, take the call. You would have won. This shit right here goes to your trend line, right? I don't know if it retraced or not. Came here, all of a sudden, decent, pulls back, decent retrace. You take the call. You would have won. Same shit here. Goes out, decent retrace, take call, win. This right here, if this hits your trend line and retrace, you would have lost. If not, indication, right? All of a sudden, this shit plays around, never comes back. Confirmation, delete your trend line. You just go back and forth. Now the thing is, when you remember your trend line is quote unquote true trend line, if you have 3 wicks that line up 100% perfectly, right? And if your trend line is not broken with a confirmation. So I got 3 wicks here and I got 3 wicks here. This now becomes the range of my candles, which is quote unquote what people call consolidation, like the little ranges and shit. The closer my triangle gets to intersecting each other, right, the smaller the candles get. You understand? So I got big ass candles here, but all of a sudden, trend line kicks in. Trend line kicks in. They intersect. All of a sudden, my candles get smaller. As soon as something gets broken, now shit goes back to normal. You guys understand that? How many pips is decent? You pretty much do some shit with your eyes, bro. It's not necessarily how many pips is decent. You just say is this a retracement that makes sense to you? Like if this looks like a decent retracement, do that shit. Is this basically all you learn from Brandon? Wonder what else I'll learn. Brandon showed me some shit, but I don't necessarily use it because I haven't gotten consistent results with it. Also, my expiries that I trade, he doesn't do that shit. His expiries are more so similar to how Darius does turbos with the Kraken. So that's how he'll do it. But I mean, he gets results with it. I mean, like for example, this is just expiries. Can you mute your mic, bro? Can you mute your mic? Whoever that is, mute your microphone. Who is that? Thank you. All right, so like I'll just say the expiries, man, because I mean it's just expiries. It's not really saying much. But anyways, so what he would do is like he would draw his trend lines, and then like if he saw a retracement, he would just take a 2 candle expiry. Yeah, 2 candlestick expiry. So like for example on this shit right here, and also he doesn't. I line up my trend lines differently. Like I'll try to get 3 wicks, you know, uh, 3 wicks to line up perfectly. What he would do is he would just try to get multiple touches, and that's how he draws his trend line. He'll get the most touches that he could possibly get. That makes sense. But for me, I don't even know what the fuck that looks like, let alone know how to get results with it. Cause that'd be some shit like if I'm trying to get most touches, it'd be something like this. You feel me? Which I mean, that might not be a bad trend line, but I was getting my ass kicked like that, so I just stopped after a while. But for like example, like off of this trend line I drew, if I was taking his expiries, it'd be like this. So I'd have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches right here, because it goes through 3 little like diagonal wicks. And then what it'd be like would be like this. So this right here, retrace, take it for 2 candlesticks, up, call. So 1, 2. So it'd be like 1, 2. and I would have just racked in all those fucking pips on this trade. That would have been 360 micros. So then all of a sudden I just wait. This shit comes down, all of a sudden retrace, 2 candlestick call. So it'll be like 1, 2. So I would have racked in another 313 micros over 1. And this shit comes down, it retraces, I would have took a 2 candlestick expiry. So 1, 2, right? On binary, still would have fucking won. Forex, you would have racked in another 134 micros, but it came all the way down here. So you would have ended with like 58. So you'd have won. This right here, touches, retraces, 2 candlestick expiry. 1, 2, would have won. This right here, touch, retrace, 1, 2. So this actually would have lost. This would have been the first loss right here because it's ended. All of a sudden this hits, retrace, 1, 2, would have won. This right here, I don't know if this retrace. Even if it did though, you would have took a 2 candlesticks or 1, 2, you would have won. But since we can't tell, this right here came up, retrace, 1, 2, you would have won. This right here, retrace, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, you would have won. This right here, retrace, 1, 2, you would have lost. I don't know if this retrace, but as you can see, it confirms out. So literally with this, for his expiries, you would have only lost literally on 1 trade, but you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, let's say we won't count this. So 6, 7, 8, 9. This ninth would have lost. So yeah, you would have had 8 wins, 2 losses trading his expiries. But that's only if you draw your shit correctly, bro. I mean, if you don't draw your shit correctly, you're gonna get your ass kicked so hard on that. Like it's not even funny. And we'll even look at this shit too right here. So check this out. So I got 1, 2. This is highest. We won't count that, but 3. So 3 touches. We'll do 2 candlestick expiries. So all right. So touch, retrace. 1, 2, win. 1, 2, win. Retrace. That's a judgment call, but right here, retrace. 1, 2, win. That's not really it might have been a retrace. But even if you did 1, 2, you still would have lost. You would have lost or you would have tied. So yeah. And then this would have confirmed out and you would have been done. So that's a little bit about his expiries and shit. But again, it just depends on drawing your shit correctly. If you don't draw your shit correctly, you're gonna get fucked. So yeah. So that's a little bit about what he does. But he also does way, way, way much more. And he teaches a lot more. The only thing I took from him as far as this thing was the confirmation indication, so it lets you know when your trend line's actually broken, and just the 3 wick touches. And he doesn't even do the 3 wick touches. Like he honestly don't give a fuck about that. He goes for the most touches. I just do 3 because I think that works the best for me personally. So yeah. I said like what he teaches isn't bad. It showed me some new perspective, that's for sure. But I just wasn't getting consistency just on what he taught. So that's why I had to tweak this shit to my own preference. So but he's chill, man. He's chill. So anyways, so that's that. So that's trend line and that. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna draw some trend lines, and then I'm gonna do live market and show you guys how I take my trades. Okay, with this method. I still have to show you the other way as well, though. So let's look for some trades, just so you guys can get some examples. So let's look for something good. Let's try to find something that lines up perfect. And we will readjust and shit like that. Just gonna find something good, alright? It's funny, I haven't been looking at this for a while, but you see how this works like support and resistance? all of a sudden shit breaks. Like these were getting respected. 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden it gets broken, but these act like support and resistance. Touch perfectly and it goes up. Alright, so let's look though. Hmm. Trying to find something good, so bear with me, okay? Let's see, what does this look like? Nope. Alright, so technically, let's say, let's see, we'll just use this because this actually looks cool. So we got, alright, 1, 2, 3. I doubt this is gonna come back down and shoot that. So what this tells me is I got 3 perfect touches, right? As long as this shit doesn't break, right? This means that the next 10-minute candle, when this gets to the 20-minute mark, there's gonna be a new 10-minute candle. If that new 10-minute candle comes down, touches this, then retraces, I'm gonna take it for a 10-minute call. And even if it barely retraces in front, I can make a judgment call. Even if it retraces a little after, I can make a judgment call. But if it hits this 100% perfectly, retraces, I'm taking it for a call. So we'll put this right here just so we can get back to it, okay? What else can we find? 1, 2, 3, perfect touches, right? Same thing on the 5. Okay. So you see how we have 3 weeks perfect touch? If it comes up, comes back down, on the retrace, then we'll take it for a 5-minute trade or a 10-minute trade. It doesn't matter. Now let's see this. Now since I got all these wicks, I'm gonna try and find something else to see if I can maybe get this trade right here. Hmm. Alright. 1, 2, 3. See how I retrace right in front? If it comes back down right here or on it, I'm taking it for a call. Take it right now, EJ. 7-minute call. 7-minute call now. Ah, I got a bad strike though. Fuck. It's all good though. Alright, now, I need 460. If it goes back, I'm gonna get it. But yeah, so that's what we'll aim for. And we're just gonna follow this for the next 6.5 minutes. Because that's when this trade closed on a 10-minute candle. And if this is quiet, then just bear with me, y'all, because I mean, what else is there more to say right now? Unless you guys have questions. I'm going to try and get a better strike rate because I did enter late. I am winning right now, but the idea was on my trend line. So that's what I'm going for. 1, 2, 3. That was the 4th touch when it retraced. And the only reason I'm taking this trade is because it retraced literally on that, and then it overshot a little bit. But it did retrace on that, so to me, that shit respects it. Only because it retraced on my line. That's what you want to look for. If you draw a line and you see a candle hit it and then it retraces, 9 times out of 10 you're probably gonna be right. If you draw a line though and it goes straight through it and then retraces, the shit's probably wrong. But if we actually rewind this video whenever we put the recording up, you will see that it actually did retrace on my line. So that to me lets me know this shit is accurate. Now because it's right here, I'm gonna see if I can find anything else that also lines up with that, because there might be a better one. I don't want that shit to break, so I don't wanna try too hard either. So like right here, is that one? I can't tell. So let's delete first so we can see. 1, 2, 3, yeah, and then 4. Same thing. So that's the fourth touch. That lets me know this is another good spot too. If it comes back to this one or this one, I'm gonna aim for that as far as an entry. And I'm gonna take that for a call. 4 minutes 30 seconds left. So that's what I'm aiming for, because those are the spots that actually retrace that. I don't see any other trend line possibilities right now. I can try and line up my wicks while I'm waiting or whatever the fuck. It's really up to the person. But I think this will actually be good for us right now though. So let me switch this back again. And I just have it ready. I have 3 minutes in order to get a better entry. I'm currently winning, but if it comes back down, I'm gonna take one more trade. Let me see if you guys have any questions. I will answer your questions in a second too. I just want to make sure I win this, okay? But I will answer your questions. This trade closes in 3 minutes. And I can't take a trade in 2 minutes, 15 seconds, but I just want to make sure I get the best entry. Once I do that, then I'll answer your questions, okay? And this is literally how I've been calling signals. Like the 10 wins last night and the 1 loss is literally all I did. Whoever did say steep trend line, like this one right here, the steep trend lines aren't always the best. They can work though, but they're not personally my favorite. So you are right about that. I'm just letting you know. But because they line up so perfectly though, I will consider it. I'll just keep it up at least, if anything. And at the same time, if it gets broken, this will act like support and resistance, which is what you'll see as well. So it's a good example for this video. So I have these bearish trend lines and I have these bullish trend lines. All I'm looking for is retracements. The one that gets respected the most, I'll just delete the others. And then that way the screen doesn't look so damn cluttered. And we'll just go from there. So 2 minutes left. Really wish I would have got that 460 entry point though. So I don't necessarily like my strike, even though it's winning, but still. A minute 18 seconds. Now, whenever you guys actually decide to practice this, you don't have to leave your stochastics up unless you really want to. I took mine off because they made my candles look smaller since there was more since the indicator took up space, so my candles were a lot smaller and shit. But I took it off so I could see them easier. But the EMAs though, I will say they do help me out. Personally, it helps me just like understand the candles better. So I mean, I would say leave your EMAs on, and while you're drawing your trend lines, and who knows, I think it'll add some good trading perspective as you guys try out this method and stuff. All right, we'll see. This one's no longer valid because those were our 3 spots, and this one just got broken. So I'll delete that shit. And you'll see our trade just won right here. It just won. It was only $1, but still. So how's that? Okay. So we just won one trade, right? I want to take another trade so I can show you more examples on this, and then I'll go to the next trend line thing. But let me see what your questions are first, okay? Uh, okay, let's see, let's see. Scroll up. It's really powerful. I like him. I'm like, yeah. I'm just saying the people say it. Like, if you ever see this video, Brandon, the people say it. um, so yeah. So like I said, he's chill, man, but it's just he's just very busy. But I mean, he does have a baby on the way, bro. So and this was much needed. Combine this and then the group. Price action is king. Blew my mind. I'm ready to kill. So you can use a third candle. Um, candle's wick. Even the thing is, you technically like you can queen, but it's better if you have 3 wicks lined up already, and then let's say like a fourth candle touches your shit and then retraces. That's the candle you want to enter on. If you ever enter on the third candle, you can get your ass kicked. Like for example, the trend line I literally just deleted. 1, 2, 3. They lined up perfectly at first, remember? But all of a sudden this shit ended up breaking at the last minute. If you would have took that trade, you either would have barely won, barely tied, or barely lost. I can't even tell because it's literally on the line. But this would have been one of those trades you would have lost maybe by like 1 micro or some shit. It's better if you have 3 candles that already line up perfectly, and then you just trade on like the fourth or anything after that. That's the safest way to do this shit, okay? For example, 1, 2, where's the third? 1, 2, the fuck, I can't even tell right now. Oh, it barely overshot. So I think that's what I considered. I can't even tell right now, but I think that's what I was looking at. So it's like 1, 2, 3. But anyways, so as soon as you have your three that line up, all of a sudden it's like 1, 2. Well, you know what? For a good example, I want to show you what I'm talking about. Just for a better example, three that perfectly line up would be like this: 1, 2, 3, right? And then anything that touches then retraces, those are the ones you take. So touch, retrace, call. Touch, retrace, call. Touch, retrace, call. That's the idea. That's what you want to do. And the perfect, and if they're perfectly lined, the better. If it's not perfectly lined, you can still trade it, even if it barely undershoots or barely overshoots. But I think the best ones are when they perfectly line up and they get respected. Those are my favorite trades personally. So like this right here, 1, 2, 3. This wasn't perfectly lined up, but still respected. 1, 2. You feel me? Like the trades, they still hit and then retrace. So I mean, it's just something you can play with, okay? So let's find something different. So I can show you another example. Oh yeah, let's see what else. All right, most def. You ain't gotta put no dot dot silly. Like, oh my god, I shouldn't have asked that question. Oh, it's all good. All right, and you have a steep ass trend line going down. Steep ones ain't good. I agree, Andrew. Steep ones aren't necessarily my favorite either. It was just to show you. What do you look for on the Stokes? I don't use the stochastics. Yes, EMA 10 and 50. Finally, use EMAs as support and resistance, or they can work. 533. The fuck, that's stochastics. I don't use those. The EMAs are exponential. It's Darius's setup. So like if you literally use his stuff, it's the same exact setup. And yes, the EMAs do kind of do work as support and resistance. It's even better when you have an EMA that supports your trend line. Like if you see like an EMA running along your trend line and all of a sudden you see a retrace, those are the ones that are usually guaranteed wins from what I've seen. Those things are platinum. If we find a good example, I'll show you. So I want to find one more good trade for y'all niggas to see. So this might be good. All right, so let's see if we can line something up with this. All right, judgment call. 1, 2, 3. 15-minute put. on Euro GBP. Does this look good? Wait, what the fuck? Where am I? What? Oh, because I zoomed in and then you really see what it looks like. Hold up. Okay, I thought those. Alright, look at this. This is why you really gotta pay attention to the sizes. Look at this. It looked like it perfectly lined up, but I guess I was wrong. You feel me? Because if I zoom in, 1, 2, this is third candlestick, so that's not necessarily the best trade. So that almost got us. All right, so we're not gonna take that. If anything, uh, yeah, if anything, let's see. Let's go to a different time frame. Okay, this is better. This is much better. What do we have here? All right, that's a 10 minute. So that's 4 minute put right here. 1, 2, 3. If it come up here, you take a 4 minute put. Let's see what else we can get right here. All right. Uh, let's see. 1, 2. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how it retraces. If it comes back here, hits it, we'll take it for a call. Euro GBP. All right. We have 2 minutes to make a decision before we can no longer take a trade. If it comes right here, I'll take it for a call. If it comes up here, I'll take it for a play. And for you who is curious about the EMA, you see how this thing is working? Kind of like pushing that motherfucker down. I'm just watching. We got a minute, 15 seconds to make a decision. Got a minute left to make a decision. Now only enter right here, like in this area, or here in this area. Like this is literally all I did last night. I just looked for shit to line up perfectly, and then I just traded the retracements. Like this is, you can't get any simpler than this, yo. Like from what I've seen, anyways. Let's see. And you can trade naked just with your trend lines if you want to. I do like these EMAs though, but of course sometimes they might actually make you skeptical or whatever else. So do what works for you, you know. So we won't be able to take this, unfortunately, because the XP is gonna disappear. All right, here we go. So we'll just check this a second to see if it even stayed within the ranges, okay? But we're gonna look for something else right now. 1, 2. Let's see if it lined up perfectly. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can trade this. If it comes up again, 10-minute put. Euro JPY. I burn through the streets like whoa. Everybody looking so cold. I'm cool like Nat King Cole. Niggas trying to steal my glow. God, man, dumping in the gun, motherfucker. John, number 9, number knucker. James, John, I'm up meaning. Sorry, so this literally, if we would have gotten our put or our call, we would have won on that. Is that gonna retrace though? We watch this for a second. Alright, and it just shoots through. So because it shoots through, this shit didn't necessarily respect this shit. Okay? So we pay no attention to that shit. Oh fuck. Alright. There we go. Alright, that shit. Oh, and it just overshot it too. That ain't good. Alright, so if that's where it retraced, let's see if I can find something else that makes sense out of that motherfucker. 10 minutes left. Ooh, that's a big retrace. That ain't good. Well, we got 10 minutes, so we'll see what happens. I want to see if I can line something up though. One, maybe this. Okay, that might work. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll do this. 1, 2, 3. If I want to get a better entry. So if it comes up here, I'm gonna take another put. Got 9 minutes to make a decision. And we will solely focus on this until the trade closes. I like focusing on one trade at a time. If it retraces, I will enter at that spot at the top. And obviously, since this got broken with ease, ain't really no need to keep that there. But I'll keep that there just so I know where my entry was. Even when she go away, 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 I'm a chapstick man. You could be me if your lips crusty. I'm a chapstick man. I'm a chapstick man. I burn through the street like wool. Everybody looking so cool. I'm cool like Nick and Cole. So still my glow. Got swing down and look at the man and look at even when she go away. Even when she go away. I'm gonna trade naked, skinny dipping in the markets, huh? Ooh, sounds delightful. So what I'm gonna do is, because I don't really see it coming underneath this shit, as it comes closer to this, I'm gonna take one more position, which is really just gambling a little risk trading shit. But the closer it gets, I expect it to retrace near this shit anyways, though. So I'm sure that shit would probably help me win or make profit out of this. That's for sure. But I just give it some time to see how this plays first. Even when she go away, even when she go away, I'm a chapstick man. I'm a chapstick man.
Codians. This Saturday, I will be in New Caribbean City in the Bay. It's open. Ah, pimps, bring your hoes. Hoes, bring your pimps. Let's turn the fuck up. I ain't taking no vibe right to be boarded shit. Hey there, West
Wow.
Codians. This Saturday, I will be in New Caribbean City in the Bay. It's open. Ah, pimps, bring your hoes. Hoes, bring your pimps. Let's turn
Hey there, y'all. I love that shit. All right, so this trade closed in 4.5 minutes. Let's see what happens. I either want to get a better entry or I want this shit to fucking drop. Hey there, y'all. So now 36 about to hit. Gotta change my expiry again. There we go. If it goes a little higher, that's when I'll take the trade. I swear, yesterday's video was so smooth and so much shorter. Darius just had to delete that mess, man. It was straight to the point, though. This might bore some people, but hey, man, shit, something y'all can practice. Alright, so since it's high enough, I'm gonna take one more. If it hits my shit, I'll take it again. Alright, at least I caught that, so that's good. What I just did too, this didn't follow anything. That was just because it was close to where it retraced at, and I was losing this by a landslide. So I was like, let me just take one more position. But there was nothing strategic about what I just did, except for just trying to catch some pips. Because I wanted to retrace near this line or on this line. But if it's close and I see it retrace, sometimes I take it based on my judgment, which is what I just did. So instead of losing a full 968, I lose 268 and I make that shit. But luckily, hopefully, I win both though, so we'll see. Got a minute 20 seconds left to make a decision. And here's another thing you guys got to think about too when it comes to Marcus World. The cap for your trades is $1,000. If you got to be quick with your entries, right, then you got to be responsible with that money. Because there's no way in hell I can cover $968, you know, with $1,000 cap. You feel me? And now both trades are winning. The last 2 minutes we're finally winning, thank God. But there's no way I can cover that much. But I can only take $1,000 trades. If I was able to take something bigger, then I could cover it. But because I can't, you feel me? What I should have did was I should have took a smaller trade, and then if I wanted to get a better entry, then I'll take a bigger trade that can cover that smaller trade if that shit loses. So when I win this, I'll make 700 profit. If I lose this though, then I'll be negative 268. So let's see if I win both. Currently I am. Minute 20 seconds left. And just so you guys know, are you still here, Queen? Are you? Okay, you are. I'm a chapstick man. But just so you guys know too, right? The idea is you want to take trades that are based off that are mainly based off when they retrace off your trend line. You see how this totally overshot it right here, right? This trend line probably isn't the best trend line to take future trades off. So after this trade ends, you know, being smart and shit, what you want to do is we'll simply just delete this and take different trades, okay? So currently we are winning both trades. 28 seconds left. But even if shit respects this later, I mean, the next trade might even respect this. You feel me? But to me, I wouldn't necessarily want to trade solely off of this because, I mean, it just got overshot. You feel me? What if it gets overshot again? I want the best trades. So I'd probably delete this and do something else. 5 seconds. Are we gonna win? Are we gonna win? And we won both trades. So both of those won as well. So this would have literally been, what is that? How much profit was that? 700 profit and was that 800? $756. So that was $1,200 profit right there off of that trade. So we just won 2 trades off of that. Okay. So did you guys see that? Are you guys still here with me? If you are, type letter yes. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's just you and me, baby. It's just you and me. Me and my baby queen. All right. So that's the gist of that. Okay, right? So just remember, as far as that goes, um, I gave you 2 examples for that. I could give you more. I just really don't want to make this too long and shit. But if you guys want more help with that, we can always do more hangouts and shit. But that's literally all we did, or all I did for calling the signals last night. And then and I also showed Darius and Francisco, so they're trying to learn that shit too. You see how there's a retrace right here, and they touch the EMA perfectly in retrace. That's why I have these EMAs, because sometimes they touch them perfectly. And since it's in the area of my trend line, naturally I would want to take a put here. Like I would want to do a 20-minute put, but because this overshot it in a major way, I don't think this would be the safest trade. So I personally would delete it. But if I was being risky, I would do some shit like this. Just to see if it would win. You feel me? like if I was doing something risky, I'll do it just to see if it wins, because technically it did retrace in the area. So that's why I'll take that. So anyways, that's the first trend line thing. This is also how we got all those results last night and shit, right? So now I'm gonna show you the second way. The second way is something that I was playing around with when I was struggling with branding stuff in the beginning. Even up to like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or whatever the fuck. I was doing this as well. I'm gonna show you something that I figured out as far as the trend being your friend and shit. Okay. So um how do I word this and shit? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Wow, that's interesting. You see how they have the retrace and shit like that? This would quote unquote be a little 7-minute call and shit like that. But because it totally overshot and stuff like that, it's not necessarily the safest trade. You feel me? But the idea would be is it's a 7-minute call. But anyways, I gotta stop getting distracted. So, okay, here we go. So in the very beginning, like I told Queen, the idea is the trend is your friend, right? Now, one of the biggest problems that I had, and this is going to be the second trend line method, okay? One of the biggest problems that I had with Brandon's method was figuring out the trend. I just saw candles going up and down, but I never really knew what the trend was. You can kind of see these hills and valleys and shit. So, I mean, you can pretty much, if you really look at this, you can tell that this is a bearish trend, right? And if you look at this, you can tell like that was a short little like bullish trend and shit like that. You can see stuff like that when there's not a whole lot of noise, right? But for me trying to trade candles and stuff like that, I was constantly getting my ass kicked all the time and shit. So what I was doing was, in order to figure out a trend, if you guys are familiar with my old replication method, with the candle patterns and stuff, I was pretty good at identifying what color these candles would end. Like if I saw that this candle was going up for a little bit, looking at the time, how much time has been heading in that direction, how much longer, until the candle closes, I can pretty much figure out, whether this candle was going to end blue or if it was going to close red. You feel me? So what I was doing in order to figure out the trend was, this was a neat little trick. Um, I would literally take the highs and lows of a candle and I'll connect it to my current candle. So what that looks is the highs and the lows will be the top and the bottom of your wick, right? And I'll connect it to a candle that I wanted to trade. So what that looks like would be like this. Let's do live market so you guys can see. Okay, like just want a good example for y'all. Let's do 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. All right. So all I did, as a matter of fact, I want to go a higher time frame just so I can get a good example. Let's do something higher because you'll see more examples on a higher time frame. This is when this pretty much relates to what people say as, oh, you know, the higher the time frame, the more a trend will actually, you know, be a good trend. That's not necessarily the case, but if you draw it correctly, you'll have more good entries on your shorter time frame. So all I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna take a candle that already closed, because if you think about this, this is 2-hour candles, right? I mean, and these both ended red. So let's say this candle's right here, right? It went down for 2 hours. So obviously that's a bearish trend, right? So if this goes down another 2 hours, then obviously it's a bearish trend, right? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect the previous candle to my current candle. You feel me? Then I'm just gonna look on a shorter time frame, and I'm looking for only puts, right? Right? Now, of course, this thing is gonna fluctuate throughout a time frame, but it's because I did that. Any candle that hits my trend line and then retraces down, I'm just gonna take it for a trade, right? So I drew that trend line on a 2-hour candle. I went to a 10-minute candle. I'm looking for 3 touches in order for it to be a good trend line. And as long as it's not confirmed out, remember what I told you about indication confirmation? As long as it's not confirmed out, it is considered a trend line, right? Especially if it looks like you drew it decent, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3. Now, even though these aren't necessarily 3 perfect touches, I'm just looking for 3 touches according to this bullshit. But if you want to say 3 perfect touches, we have 1, 2, and then 3, okay? So if I'm just looking for 3 touches, I got 1, 2, 3 because I went through this candle, right? So anything that touches and it retraces, I can take it for a put for whatever time frame I'm looking at. So this would have hit right here. That's a 10-minute put, right? Hit right here, 10-minute put. If anything else hits it, it's gonna be more puts. Let's go to a shorter time frame. And as long as nothing's confirmed out, I can take trades, okay? So let's see. So all right, so we got 1, 2, 3 touches, right? This hits it right here, retraces, 4-minute put. It's a 4-minute candle, okay? So hits it, retraces, 4-minute put. Hits it, retrace, 4-minute put. It undershoots, so you could do a judgment call if you really want, but this hits it, retraces, 4-minute put. Let's go to even shorter time frame. I gotta zoom out for this shit. Okay, so if I look all the way up here, this actually looks like it confirmed. Alright, so this actually confirmed out. But you see how that trend line acts like support and resistance even on this? Because these things are just going against it. Let's go if I can do a different time frame. What's that look like? Even that. So let's see another. Alright, this is cool. So I got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, right? So this right here, retrace down, that's 3-minute put. This right here, hit, touch, retrace, 3-minute put. Touch, retrace, 3-minute put. Touch, retrace, 3-minute put. Touch, retrace, 3-minute put. You could do this literally on any damn time frame, yo. If you just draw your trend line by connecting those 2 things together. And remember, I drew this based off of a 2-hour candle, and I connected these 2 together. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Alright, so that's just one way to do it. Now sometimes connecting your candles together, 1 and 2, right? Or I guess connecting your candle to a current candlestick, those are sometimes hard because I mean, if this shit flips and you chose the wrong direction, then obviously it's gonna break. So sometimes what's even easier to do is this. Instead of connecting it to your current candle, what you can do is, let's see. Alright, that works. What you can do is put the previous 2 candles together and use that trend. Now this is actually good because all 3 are together. But let me show you a different different asset so you can see what I'm talking about. So delete this. Alright, that works. Yeah, it works. Alright. So you see how 1, 2 are together, right? These two trend lines, these two candles are together. This one actually abided by it. So if I go to a shorter time frame, let's see what that looks like. Um, okay, let's see. Alright, so here we go. And we'll adjust it a little bit just so you can see what this looks like. So it doesn't get confirmed out, right? So we have 1 touch, 2 touch. This barely overshoots it, but whatever. This will be our 3rd touch, right? So if you want, you got this one right here. Touches it, retrace. It's a 1-minute call, but obviously you can't trade the same candle for that. So just do Darius' method of the next candlestick. So it'll be like 1, you win. This one right here, I don't know if it retraced, so we won't count it. This right here, touch, retrace, take it for a call, you would have won. This one touch, retrace. If you would have took that, you would have lost. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. These wins, I did tell you guys decent retraces, so I don't know if you personally would have took this. And then technically this confirmed right here. It confirmed out, so this one would be broken at this point. I mean, if you wanna, if you wanna do that shit for one, obviously. But if you adjust this a little bit, I wanted to show you that shit. Hold up. Let me adjust this so it makes a lot more sense. So let's say we did this right here, right? Let's say I adjusted my trend line just a little bit. And I move this to okay. Let's see. Right here. Let's see, I personally adjusted, okay? And I'll put it here, some shit, right? So 1 touch, say 2 touches, it barely overshoots, but I mean undershoots, but it's okay. So 1, 2, and then 3, right? So then if I zoom it over here, check this out. Touches, retrace. 1 minute trade, win. This one touches, retrace. 1 minute trade, win. This one touches. We don't know if it retraced or not, but this one touches, retrace. 1 minute trade, win. This one touches, retrace. A 1 minute trade. You would have either barely won, tied. Matter of fact, I don't even think you would have won this. You would have either tied or lost because this shit is right here. But this one right here, touch, retrace, win. This one right here, we don't know if that retrace. This one right here, obviously that retrace, and this end would right here, so you win. This one right here, touch, retrace, take it for a call, you win. And then all of a sudden, the candles come all the way out here for live market. And right here, 1, 2, 3. This one touch, retrace, win. Touch, retrace, win. This one right here, an overshooter, judgment call. You wouldn't necessarily take that unless you wanted to, but this one touch, retrace, you win. This one touch, retrace, you win. And this is our current live market. If you see any more candles come in this area, touch and retrace, you would take it for a 1 minute call. So let's see if we can actually get a trade in real quick with this. What asset was that? That was ADUSD. We will just see what happens. We can get a trade with that. In that JPY. So let's see if you have any questions real quick. Does anybody have any questions or no? Are you guys still here? Okay. Now I will say, even though both of these things work, especially if you're pretty creative with it and whatnot, right? I do like the original way that I showed you guys first. With this extra little thing, when you connect the candles together and stuff like that, and go to a shorter time frame, literally you can find a shit ton of short-term trades like that, especially turbos if you really want to do that. But I do like the longer trades better. I think they're easier personally. But yeah, that's just a little bit about that. I just wanted to see if I could show y'all some turbos, just so you can get examples. But the idea is if this comes down and touches it, or retraces in front of it, I'm gonna take a trade. I'll check for the next 4 minutes. If we don't get nothing, though, then I'll probably just end this video. Um, but did this at least like show you, like give you guys some perspective? Like, you think this will actually like help some of you guys or anything? Y'all don't like turbos either. They're cool if you're accurate, but I'm not all that great at turbos, especially when I can't trade the same candle. With this little method on the turbos, you're trading next candle. So I mean, it's winning, as you can see, but at the same time, like, it's only if you draw your trend lines correctly, and sometimes it's kind of hard, especially if you're just looking at stuff, you know. But same thing with this stuff, because you got the candles that actually lined up perfectly, like the wicks, 1, 2, 3, or I guess you can count this a 1, 2, and then 3, and then it's trade, 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 trade. Must be the 4 wins right there. And this would have been in how many minutes? So 1, 2, 3. All right. So you have, and this would have ended right here. So you would have had 4 wins in 18 minutes with this right here, because that's a good trend line. And if this touches it, we will take the trade. I want to show you at least one if we can get it real quick. Looks like EJ is about to win though. Hey Queen, I'm just curious. You got a boyfriend, don't you? All right, then I'm gonna help you get rich one day, then, and then I'll take you to the altar. All right. Gotta give me a rich trading wife, shit. I'm gonna have to transform you, girl. You only live once. That's the motto, nigga. Yellow. Be like that Chris Brown song. I can transform, yeah. I can transform, yeah. Hey, little mama, I can transform you. Take half of that shit. I'm gonna hit her with the prenup. You talking about? Better hit her with the prenup. That Drake boy. It really looks like EJ about to win, bro. Right, I told you I said that shit was risky because of that overshot in a major way. Obviously, best entry would have been up here. I wonder if we could have lined something up with that. I just want to see. I don't see nothing right there. Unless it was like all the way back here or some shit. Nah. Yeah, I don't see nothing right there. Hmm. Yeah, as you can see, so that's good. It's actually gonna lose on that one. Yeah, and actually lose. That's why I say you don't do that shit, especially when it overshoots. Because the best trades are when they touch your shit and then they drop back down. And that's why we typically delete those ones. I just wanted to show you all that example. That's all. Can we get a turbo, at least one turbo though? I just want to show you one turbo. Oh, you see how that overshot in a big way? If it would have hit this and then got it, then we would have did that. But since it didn't, I'm gonna see if I could do this. I just want one good one. Man. Let's see if we can line anything up. I just want to see. Alright. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Retrace. He would have took a call, but I missed it. So, fuck, man. You really got to pay attention to these lineups, man. Did it line up perfectly? Did it? Let's see. For the most part, yeah. Let me see if I can reach this. Right here. It's kinda lined up good. This one barely overshoots, but yeah, for the most part. So let's see if that would have won. If we would have had this originally, that would have been straight. It's kind of hard though, man. See, look at that, and then you see how it goes back up. If so, pretty much what I'm saying is, if you can ahead of time, if you can find the stuff that lines up perfectly and catch those trades, you would win them. That's all I really wanted to show you. I actually wanted to take that trade, but I got away too late. If this hits and retraces, that might be something to consider. Or maybe we can get a put going on in a second. Close this shit. That overshot. Let's see if we can find something that lines up. Yeah, we'll try that. So if this comes up, hits retrace, then the next one we might be able to get that going. I just want to show you one trade. Alright, so you see that? How it hit and retrace? So the next candle, because this will be our 3 touches. If the next candle does it, we'll definitely take that trade. And it's overshooting right now. Damn. So, come on. What are we going to do? I'm going to try and get one example. We might not be able to get this real quick. Especially, yeah, we're not going to get it on this chart. We keep shooting. This one's good right here, though. There you go. Yeah, that one's done. You guys really want to see an example on how this works, or do you just want to like end this video right here? Because I don't know how long it'll take to find a quick little turbo. I want to show you an example, but I just don't know how long it's gonna take. Right here. What do you guys want to do though? I wanted to show you an example. I just don't know how long it's gonna take. You guys want to end the video now, or you want to keep going, or what you want to do? I could find trades a lot easier going the original way. But this might actually take some time this other way. Trendline tricks. All right then. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that. Hopefully, it helps somebody or something. So there's that. And obviously, you guys can watch the video anytime you want. Hopefully, it helps you guys. And if you have any other questions, you just feel free to ask. It's no big deal. I'm down to help everybody. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Let's see. Fine. One last thing. 1, 2, 3. Matter of fact, I might have a trade right here. Let's see. Almost touch, but not yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retrace, retrace. I just want to see if this hits. If it hits, I'll take this trade real quick. If I can at least just win this trade, then I'll call the video for sure, for sure. Yeah, 16 seconds to make a decision. That would have been a judgment call right there. Right there. Oh shit. Damn, I missed it. What's it gonna do? Is it gonna be a retrace? And then it just goes down. Okay. If it retraces up though and gets it, then I'll take that call. So I'm just watching this candle. It looks like it indicated right now though. If it confirms out, then it's not gonna be good. Let's see what happens. Hmm. Man, yeah, it looks like it's gonna indicate. Well, yeah, I hope it helps y'all. But I would say just practice. At least you have the first method with examples. This one I can't necessarily show you right away. But if you just practice, you'll get the gist of it. So yeah, I hope that helps. And I will catch y'all later. Stay up, everybody. Ooh, like this shit right here. Look at this, look at this. What's a 1 hour put? Is that it? Does it line up perfectly? Yeah. That's a 30-minute to 1 hour put right there on GBP USD. That's actually a good trade. Kind of late on the entry right now, but yeah, if it comes back up over the next 53 minutes, Queen, pay attention to this, all right? And tell me if it wins. I'll even take a picture in the group, okay? And we'll see if this wins. But I'm pretty sure this candle's gonna end as a red candle, okay? I'm taking a picture in the group page right now. GBP USD 52-minute put right now, and I'll check this later, okay? Um, thanks for participating, everybody, and I'm about to stop this broadcast. Hope you have fun, all right? And good luck.